Good morning, everyone. How are you? It is Thursday. Good morning, Brooke. Team Meltzer. Let's get training stuff pinned up there, everybody. Let's do this. We got training tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Audio is good. Thank you, Jeremy. I miss you, buddy. Jakey Bakey, what's going on, my friend? Toby, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, thank you. Let's get going here with some questions. Remember, you can always text me at 949-298-2905. You can always text me there or email me directly at david@dmeltzer.com. I appreciate your patience, everyone. We got a lot of people that we're trying to help, so thank you so much for getting your questions, coming live. Let's do this. Move this down here. I look forward to answering some questions. Let's get these going here. And here we go. Let me know where you're calling in from. Shakedown. Gratitude for you as well, Coach. Thank you very much. Good morning from Indonesia. Thank you very much. I love free shirts and I love Wheels Up. Anyway, let's see here. Give me some questions going in the morning. It is 8 o'clock sharp. We are live on Thursday. Happy to help everybody. Here we go. Getting some questions up there. Ethan, thank you very much. When would you invest in real estate again? Great question. What I'm doing right now is in each of the different spaces in real estate, I'm going to the experts, the guys who've been around 30, 40 years, and asking them, let me know when things are oversold. And when they get oversold, that's when I'm going to go and buy real estate when it's oversold, commercial, residential, high rise, whatever it may be. I am asking for advice from the experts. We've had them on here as well. So in your specific area of real estate, in your specific demographic, whatever it may be, find that expert. There's out there. You know, great thing about real estate, it's one of the oldest professions. Our laws in America are all based off of protecting the landowner. There's so many different people to find expertise, but find that mentor and ask them one simple question. Can you let me know when you believe this space is oversold? And then you can go ahead and buy in there. But find expert. No reason to pay the dummy tax like I have. We got young, let's see here. Evan, take somebody live here. And there he is. Hey, Evan.
Hey, how's it going, David?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Good, good.
You
Just
guys have,
hanging in here, yeah.
yeah, you guys have made quite a transition for good. What's been going on?
Yeah, we've I mean, I'm in the office because I live about 5 minutes away, and none of our employees are here, so it gives me a little bit of a semblance of a routine. But yeah, we're all working remote along with everyone else. Still, I think sales have been interesting because we a lot of people typically buy our products for social gatherings, so we've been kind of pivoting, and but it's we're finding that people are still buying our products. It's just sort of a different use case.
Have you thought about creating your own platform? You know, I've talked about this in various other industries where, you have kind of the Tipsy Elves parties yourself where people order and congregate on Zoom or some other platform, all branded with you guys and have social interaction where people can have fun remotely and separate and still have the sense of community that Tipsy Elves brings.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, we've something we've done that's, I guess, along the same vein as that is we are doing these virtual bingo nights that we're hosting on IG Live. We actually have one tonight that we're doing on our Tipsy Elves account. So that's kind of like, it's kind of that idea. People are drinking, having fun. We're playing bingo. We're giving away gift cards to Tipsy Elves. We invite a bunch of our subscribers and customers out, and it's fun for everyone because a lot of people are bored at home looking for entertainment. We had people that replied after we did that and said, that was like one of the funnest things I've done in weeks because it breaks the routine of watching Netflix every night and just the monotony of what people are dealing with right now. So.
Well, speaking of which, you're a more atypical young entrepreneur in the midst of building a business, building a brand, facing, the great challenges of being a business owner, loving having employees and overhead. Can you talk me through your mindset when you first found out, hey, we're going into quarantine, these stay-at-home orders, what was your mindset, and procedurally, what did you do to kind of keep the ship afloat and move it forward?
Yeah, I think the first thing we did was react really quickly. We were pretty quick to we took a lot of our team and had them go to half pay, like half time. Our priority was not to let anyone go. That was like really important to the culture of our company, was to make sure we kept our entire team in place. But the reality was, we did, like anyone, we still don't fully know how things are going to play out the rest of the year. But we, especially when that was happening, we didn't know how severe it was going to impact our sales. So we went on kind of the extreme end of really just trying to cut our costs. And I think we're realizing that cash is king right now, and just every business sort of is going to benefit by stockpiling as much cash as you can, because the reality is no one really knows what the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year is going to really look like. So
Yeah, and where do you think that turning point comes where you'll have a little bit more stable data in order to effectuate a long-term plan again? Because I think everybody's working from, or people who have the right perspective are looking from, what is our short-term plan, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan, taking inventory of what they have, making adjustments accordingly. But there has to be a point where we get back to some sort of, I don't call it a new normal, I call it a stable environment.
yeah,
What are some of the indicators for you that would allow you to start making a long-term plan?
I think we're putting a lot of interest in our upcoming patriotic collection. Usually, historically, building up to 4th of July, we always see a huge amount of sales for our patriotic collection. And we feel like that's going to be our first proxy for how some of our other really big collections that fall later in the year will perform, like our Halloween and our Christmas collection. So we're kind of putting a lot of stock in that. If by late June we see that sales of patriotic apparel are similar to last year, or they're down 30%, we think we can apply similar expectations to Christmas and Halloween. The reality is, though, I mean, that those we really won't know until they happen. So it's a balancing act, and the big threat for a company like ours is overbuying inventory. You could suck up a lot of cash if we plan on selling $15 million worth of product in Q4 and we only sell 10. It's so that's the big balancing act, is trying to predict how we think Q4 is going to play out.
And what is your biggest challenge that you are facing right now, that you're in this kind of in-between stage where we've processed what's happened over the last 8 weeks? Now we're kind of in this strategy awareness stage, and looking, like you said, to the fourth quarter, all these different scenarios. What do you see as your biggest challenge?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, just the unknown, I think, and that's not really a great answer, but
That's
yeah,
good.
that's honestly the big challenge. Is I think we're used to having more clarity every year. We're used to being able to come up with a forecast and hit it, and plan expenses for the entire year and hit those. And like, there's just so much unknown right now. I think it's just really hard to navigate when, like, usually we just don't really know what we're working towards. I think no one knows when this is going to end, and when and how the phases are going to operate, and is there going to be a resurgence in next winter, and so there's just so many unknowns. I think trying to operate a business when you're sort of surrounded by unknowns is challenging.
Last question for you, and since you're so bright, I'm giving you a little bit more challenging questions, but I'm really interested myself in your outlook. As a more experienced person, meaning I'm old, I see uncertainty just being compressed, right? So watching a young entrepreneur say, "Oh, a lot of things are," and I'm like, do you feel now that you're in this situation that there's always uncertainty, that any day of the week when you're an entrepreneur, something could happen that could completely shift, whether it be a pandemic, whether it be something else, that, because I've lived through 93, 97, 2001, 2008, in the back of my mind, I'm always in an adaptive entrepreneur, saying,
Yeah.
I always have this plan of, all right, it's always uncertain. And that's what I love about it. And I learned to love about it. For you, in the midst of kind of your first big lesson as an entrepreneur, that things change really quickly, what are you going to do, because things could change again in November, or things will change drastically if they come up and say, oh, we got a vaccine, everybody's cured. What kind of things or lessons have you learned to say, oh, this is the way I do it next time?
Yeah, I think probably be more like you and someone who's had the experience of living through it several times. And I mean, I think Nick's the other co-founder, we have a tendency to be pretty optimistic people, and kind of always think best case scenario. And it's gotten us in a little bit of trouble in the past with, not hitting, several years ago, we kind of overbought. We were spending too much on ad spend, just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. So we've had smaller lessons. I think this is obviously like the biggest awakening is like when you see big macroeconomic things happen like this, pandemics, recessions, depressions. So I think just moving forward, we'll kind of try to make sure we sort of tailor our optimism and make sure we're always preparing for unknowns. Just making sure we always keep a cash cushion in the bank. When we've got like a high forecast and a low forecast, maybe we choose the middle one and not the high one. I think just trying to be a little more conservative with that kind of stuff will probably be the big takeaway from something like this.
Yeah, it's a great lesson. I remember in 2008, my mentor, he used to call me the Toptimist.
Yeah.
And he would warn me about, I told him my grandfather, his name was Papa, right? So I called him the Poptimist because there's nobody more optimistic than him. Like you could take anything and he would find the light, the love, and the lesson in it. And, I quantumly inherited that. So I'm a Toptimist.
Yeah.
But my mentor told me in 2008 when I completely ate crow and lost everything, he said, just remember, Toptimist, he goes, the Toptimists always die first. So why don't you take it back a step and just be an optimist, a pragmatic optimist. You still live in this vibration, young entrepreneur. And I still remember that to the day because the things that you're thinking about, I would just say, the top of the pipeline, everything's going to be fine. Then all of a sudden I'm looking around going, where'd all my money go?
It's not there anymore.
Yeah. And so there is, some great blend of faith with pragmatic monetization and pragmatic being. And in the end, you end up creating and being more productive, accessible, and gracious for everything that you have. But I will tell you this from an outside observer, someone who does have experience. I think the businesses that have emotional attachment, like Tipsy Elves, that allow people to share in a community something, it's like if you starve people for 8 weeks and you gave them a cracker, they would be like, oh, this is the best cracker I've ever had.
Yeah.
They're going to love Tipsy Elves because, it's like, this is the best party bingo. Oh, my God, this is the best time I've ever had. And I really see you guys sitting in that space regardless of how long it takes to get to an endpoint or stable data, which I call a vaccine, because I think things will stabilize when we have a vaccine that we'll be able to stabilize. And I kind of work my way back from there. But thank you so much to have you on and your input. And I love your company. Go check it out, Tipsy Elves. Evan Mendelsohn, great entrepreneur. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, David.
Anytime. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, what a great business, man. They promote happiness, promote my disease, happiness, spreading it just by witnessing it, creating a community, having fun. And that is a company that makes a lot of money, helps a lot of people, and has a lot of fun. Let's get right to the questions as we're running through here. Best advice on how to market your business and be sensitive to COVID. Is COVID a person to be sensitive to? Think about it. What am I being sensitive to? Look, the best advice is to do your best and to be your best and then share all of that with everyone else and inspire other people to be their best. I'm not going to apologize for being the best that I can be, nor am I going to apologize for helping others be the best that they can be. We get into too much of interference, corrosion by putting limitations, guilt, worthiness issues, energy that we shouldn't have, right? This is not the time to do it. This is the time to step up and be your best. This is the time to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Don't be apologetic. Just be your best, the best you can be. You're going to make mistakes if you try to be your best. Forgive yourself, right? Be gracious, be forgiving, be accountable, learn your lessons, find the light, love, and lessons in everything you do, and live an inspired life. You know, if you're not feeling it, get motivated first, then worry about how to be inspired to get you there. Can you talk about how to deal with haters? Um, yeah, two ways, man. I was with Mary Morrissey last night, and she said, run. If you're going to run away from haters, then just pray for their happiness while you're running away. If you have the time, I like to understand it. So most of the people that have attacking thoughts, judgments, or conditions that are unfair, I want to know why they're projecting those insecurities and how I can help. So understand why they feel that way, and then pray for their happiness or help them or find somebody to help them. But if I don't have time, then I do what Mary Morrissey does. I run away and pray for their happiness while I'm running. Changes you've seen during these times. I think, because we're questioning our existence, there's been a value reassessment. People have made great value reassessments on how they're going to move forward with their environment, with their families, with their health. There's some significant changes going on with that introspective look at things. Looking here too, let's answer a few more questions. Thank you for putting these in here, by the way. Really appreciate it. Toby, always great to hear from you. How do you promote a business on Instagram? Well, for me, it's frequency. To promote anything on Instagram, it's just the strength of your signal, the spectrum that you're trying to reach, the different demographic, and the clarity of your message, and the consistency of that quality content that is aligned with that frequency. And don't worry about followers, don't worry about likes, worry about those people that are in your spectrum, in your frequency, that are tuning in and that are listening and moving and accelerating, that you're elevating. I call them ambassadors. It's impossible for Instagram or any Facebook or platform to give you an ambassador rating, but an ambassador is somebody that shares your message to inspire or empower other people, whether it's a product, service, or solution. So don't attach your emotions to an outcome. Be consistent about creating valuable content that's aligned with your frequency. The strength of your signal is unique. The spectrum that you're trying to address or tune into is unique. And the clarity of your message is yours. It's your frequency. Jakey wants to know where everyone's tuning in from. LA, Kazakhstan, Philly, Canada. Great to see everybody. Thank you, everyone, for coming. How do I keep my income flowing with this pandemic in the way as an unemployed person? If you're unemployed, number one, go out and do something for somebody else. Two, you need to look at your capabilities. Capabilities is an aggregate of your skills. So look at what skills you have and then what skills you need or want and develop those or ask for help with those. Look at your knowledge and do the same thing. And then practice ending fear or maintaining your inspiration or desire. You must be what you can be. And if you aggregate that and call that your capability and then align your capability, make it synergistic or supplementary to a different business, a different job, a different career, or the same one, you may just find an outstanding opportunity that you never thought of before and put yourself into a better situation or make your situation better. Looks like my TikTok doc is here. I'm so excited to bring Jason Campbell on here. Looking to find my man. So many people have so many questions about TikTok, including me. Love to see here. Let me find you, Jason. There we go. All right. Thank you for joining me. We'll go live. The TikTok doc, if anyone has seen the latest rage. Whoa, there he is.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Good morning.
Got some good energy, Doc. What's
Hey,
going on?
I'm trying. Not much. How you doing, Mr. Meltzer? Great to see you.
I need you, man. I need a TikTok doc because I want to bring up a point. I love TikTok.
Okay.
Right? It's
Okay.
one of the greatest time sucks I've ever seen.
Ever.
My wife literally has it on next to me, and I'm trying to be productive, accessible, and gracious, and all I'm doing is like looking over at that same song again and again, and I'm just, oh my God, just stop. But
I love it.
I always joke around. I'm in a different space, obviously kind of LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, trying to empower others.
Right.
I'm not that entertaining. Sometimes I can be entertaining.
I believe it.
I live for my kids to entertain and be entertaining. But is it possible to transfer, the inspirational side of what I do, the educational side of what I do, into an 8-second or 12-second clip on TikTok? And is there a big enough audience on TikTok? Number 2. And 3, can you please help me?
Yes. Let's just start with 3. Yes.
Uh,
And then we back up. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. When I started TikTok, it was only to reach the youth. I said, I asked the first-year medical student that I was mentoring, what can I do? She said, hey, the youth are on TikTok. My high school sister is on TikTok. And so I said, if I can meet them at dancing and being silly, then hopefully they can meet me at medicine or wanting to be a lawyer or wanting to be a businessman or woman. And so, you can use the messages, you can write stuff on there that people can see. For me, I'm authentic. I just dance. And then I say, now let's talk about the important issues. So I definitely think there's a way. We know there's a huge platform, huge number of followers on TikTok. So that definitely is one thing that is not, you won't have a problem with that. Obviously, you already have a platform, so you may not need more followers. You're being greedy.
yeah, no. It's interesting because I like ambassadors. And, I have a friend, we're just fooling around, and she looks like, what's the famous girl, Carly?
Oh, yeah. Diamigi or something like that.
Yeah.
Charlie
And so
Diamigi,
she,
yeah.
and we had pointed out to her that she looked like her. And so she started a TikTok. I think she has like 5 million followers already because the biometrics fit, and she got promoted within.
Right.
And so people
Boom.
follow her. And
Yeah.
so, I'm trying to distinguish to my clients, right? My people that, I do free trainings every Friday to help people. They want to know in business how to use it. Well, there is a segment, right, that these people can make money by promoting products,
Right.
because they have eyeballs.
Exactly.
But eyeballs are different than telling a story, right?
Right.
Eyeballs are the awareness of a product. You actually use it. Thank you, Charlie DeMello. Josh says,
Charlie
but
Mello,
yeah, they what you do is really interesting, because working in the context of my 5 to Thrive selling style,
right.
you use your dancing to stimulate interest, and then you transition interest to share a true vision, right? Like the serious stuff.
Right.
And so, if, for example, because I want to work with you and I want you to help me with my TikTok, how do you take a middle-aged mutant turtle like myself, and my platform, I already have ambassadorship, I have a following, what would you do for me to help me on TikTok?
Yeah, so I would say that, us by doing a duet or something fun like that to pin us side by side, then all of a sudden you're just taking your platform and your message and connecting it to a younger and maybe even a more diverse group that hasn't reached you yet. And that's what I think is the value. The value is that you're going to cross decades and generations, if you will. And that's how you then utilize it for as a best asset.
Yeah, and I can see a lot of people that, there's very few people my age that can do it.
Right.
But I've
and the
seen
ones that
young
do
people.
it are fun. And the ones
Yeah,
that they do it with their kids, it's huge hit. How old are your kids?
Oh, I got perfect ones. They're 21, 18, 15, and 10.
Dude, put them to work.
I started one doing videos for me. I work out of a closet. So she started, the TV show The Office. She started the closet and, kind of keeping up with the Meltzers in the closet.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's been a huge hit on Instagram and other places. So, moreover too, people have talked about the security of TikTok, right?
Right.
And, my head of media side, will not even get onto TikTok originally. He was so resistant because he said it's, Chinese owned, that they're just stealing all our data. They're going to, ruin the world, and it'll end one day, and either government's going to shut it down. What is your feeling about that skepticism?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a reason to worry, always a reason to smile. That's what I say. I think that certainly there might be some evidence there. I'm in medicine. I'm an evidence-based kind of guy. So if there's evidence there, I love to see it and make my own predictions. But I mean, if we get through COVID-19, that's about close to the world ending as I've seen in my 31 years. So I think that we're okay for now.
And if you were selling me on TikTok, and you know my brand, where I am. What are the things you would say would be, the benefit of say, hey Dave, you got to get on TikTok? Because like Gary's been telling me for a year, you got to get on TikTok. And I have a few that are doing really well, a few videos, but
Yeah.
obviously on Instagram and others, I'm there every day, all day long.
Right.
And I'm really considering going over. I'd love, Jason, for you to kind of convince me, saying, all right, here's what we're gonna do.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. One, I definitely believe that you got to keep up with the times. So if TikTok is the time right now, then with what you do and who you are, it's our job to convert, to morph into what is going on now. 2, great audience, big platform. 3, brands are there. Obviously, Charlie D'Amelio, all these people that have made it can see that brands are going there, people are going there. And 4, I would just say that it is a time, especially now when everybody's home. I mean, TikTok is, how much time have you wasted? And you have a job.
I don't even look. That's just sitting next to it.
Right. So what about people that don't have a job, that are just home, so, for me, I have gotten such nice messages about how people have used it to brighten their day. Elderly persons that are home alone have said, hey, this brings me a lot of joy seeing your dances. My kids are afraid to visit me. Other persons that are even on the front lines in New York or in Florida or wherever say, hey, this is the first time that I smiled today. So if you can have that kind of influence, or maybe with you, this is the first time that I've heard this kind of news, because not everybody's on Instagram either, So
yeah.
I think that you can catch a lot of people that maybe aren't on Instagram or that are new to social media, and TikTok is their first revelation into it.
You know what I like also? I call TikTok the Disneyland of the internet, because it's the happy place. I asked my wife, because there's a frequency in it that's remarkable, because literally I don't have it. Like I don't, look at it on my own phone, but when people have it around me, I'm drawn to it, and they're always laughing. They're always laughing, or at least smiling. And for other reasons, right? Sometimes it's because it's funny, sometimes because it's so stupid.
Right.
But I don't care why people laugh, because my mission in life is, to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. Awesome. And I just see, TikTok is that platform.
Yes.
So last quick question for you, Jason, because I'm going to work with you. So how do I truly find you? How do other people find you?
Perfect.
Now, anybody else listening, don't call him before me, because I get first shot at this guy helping me. And when I get huge on TikTok, we're all going to say, the TikTok doc even helped Dave Meltzer. He can help you. Where can they find you?
It's beautiful. Yeah, so I'm at Dr. JC of the DC, at Dr. JC of the DC on TikTok, at Dr. JC of the DC on Instagram and on Twitter. Love for you to follow me. Love for you to email me. You can get my email that way, and go from there. And it's just been such a pleasure talking this through, because like I said, all these things have a place in our lives, and I'm glad that we got a chance to delve into that.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to working with you more, having you back on.
Please.
And we're going to do a rewind version of this when I got millions of followers on TikTok, and Dave the Dancing Bear, the Ferocious Buddha, or however I make fun of myself, is changing lives by making people happy in a whole different way, other than giving them business advice.
Exactly. But we appreciate that too.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you. You do an incredible job. I'm looking forward to working with you. My guys are going to call you today.
Perfect. I look forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, be well. Thank you, brother.
Awesome. The TikTok doc, man. Man, I'm convinced. I'm going the other way. You're going to start seeing the middle-aged mutant turtle, the ferocious Buddha, whatever you want to call me, Uncle David. I'm going to be the dancing bear on TikTok, all for the purpose of making people happy and inspiring them, though. I'm going to try to do things a little bit differently at my frequency. So none of this, you won't be seeing any of that stuff going on. So thank me right now. But we'll try some different things going on. Check out my TikTok if you haven't. I got a good few videos on there, a little bit different view of things. Let's go ahead and see who else is on here. I know we got a special guest to close out, a guy that follows my religion, and people ask me all the time, they're very confused by the ferocious Buddha. Is he Buddhist, Jewish, Christian, Kabbalist? But I am a sportist. And this man right here, Gotham Chopra, is following the religion I believe in, the religion of sports. What's going on, man?
Cathedral here. So
How are you? You always got a Patriots thing or a Celtics thing. It's the only thing I don't like about you.
I put on a Warriors hat this morning because I'm
All right, man. I gotta send some new gear, some Chargers stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, our playbook comes out today. It was one of the favorite playbooks because I rarely get to somebody that has the same spiritual background that I do, a really faith-based life to help people and change lives, but just a pure passion and the relationships in sports to help inspire others and learn lessons about life through sports, and even doing your new podcast with your dad, even sharing bigger messages. So give me a little bit of a background on how the podcast is going, though.
Yeah, it's going well. It's really, so the podcast is called Now for Tomorrow, and it really just came spontaneously. My dad is Deepak Chopra. I started noticing about a month or 6 weeks ago, oh gosh, or 2 months ago, I guess at this point, that everyone was inviting him onto their shows and podcasts to start dealing with all this uncertainty and anxiety around what's going on in the world. And, I actually could see in him, he was getting like sort of exhausted and everything. So I said, hey, why don't we just, we have a team, we can do something simple. So we started this thing called Now for Tomorrow, which is just a series of short podcasts, 5 to 7 minutes, where he talks about some of the things people are talking about, and then very practical things that they can do with this time that we all of a sudden have on our hands, staying in our houses and everything. So we put it out there a couple weeks ago. It's been growing. It's just great. It's always interesting to see, the insomnia one is like really popping. People are, really trying to consume that. So I think it's been great. And I think one of the things we've talked about doing is like, now we're going to start, exporting it, letting other people like yourself, I hope, do an episode. Like, what are you doing now to prepare for tomorrow? Because, this is a long haul. But this is also an opportunity for us to really reflect on the things that we want to, how we want to be of service on the other side of this thing. So it's been going well. It's growing.
And I'd love to get your quick perspective. Obviously sports is one of the things that are on the later stages of implementation for what we're doing as we, get back out there. The one unknown is, this multi-billion-dollar industry of, how baseball, basketball, football, hockey, how are we going to create the same energy and the same dollars that we did before if we can't have mass gatherings?
Yeah.
Have you, we're both connected in different circles. Have you heard or thought of anything, what you think that staging is going to be or the effects that it's going to have?
I think they're, I friends with a lot of different athletes who play in various leagues, et cetera. And I think there's a great desire, I think, on all sides to sort of get this thing up. You mentioned the money that's at stake, and I think it's significant, and the networks, and, there's a lot of different parties that are engaged on this. So I think there's a huge desire, which is a great thing. But I think there's also a lot of concern around safety, and there's just so much unknown. So I think it's a very phased, especially with like basketball, we're close to this playoffs. Like, what could that look? Is there a different type of format? One of the great things in particular about the NBA with the leadership of Adam Silver is they're pretty progressive. They've always been thinking about how do we make, the league better? How do we, make the playoffs better, et cetera. Now we're sort of forced by circumstance, maybe to even experiment with some of those things. So I think, there's a strong desire. I think there's also a concern around the optics of it. Like, okay, well, you have a multi-billion-dollar league that has resources, can go get private testing and all that stuff. But how does that look, when the general public is struggling? So there's a lot of things, and I think it's going to just take time. And it's also going to, states are opening up. Like, let's see what happens, and just be mindful of it, because, sports will come back. I'm dying for it to come back sooner than later. But I think being conscious and being patient, and these are all skill sets we're being forced to learn right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest, you and I believe in the religion of sports, like we said, but one of the greatest things that is missing is the unifying factor, the unification, the community that it creates. And although we're creating these micro communities that are super important within the context of our family and our neighbors, again, these have really been enhanced. There's still that community of cities, states, and teams and leagues and organizations and players that have their own communities. And I remember in 9/11, 2001, how significant that first pitch that was thrown out when, we kind of just put it right back into the world's face that we're all united together. And I still think that's going to be a huge win over the disease in an emotional way, as well as a perspective that, we can overcome. We have this ability through sports to unite and feel good again and, really enjoy that. Do you feel that emotional unification will be the same, when we get the first NBA game or baseball game?
I mean, I love the 9/11 analogy because you're talking to, make sure, a diehard Red Sox fan. There's my David Ortiz jersey, there's my Pedro Martinez jersey, and I was up on my feet when, it was at Yankee Stadium, the first pitch after 9/11. I think it was Yankees versus Mets, and just like what that meant. And so, yes, I mean, sports ultimately is about community. It's about becoming part of something bigger than yourself. When you go to a game, just think across like the 30,000 or 70,000, or in the NBA, 20,000 fans. Like, there's people of every walk of life, every lifestyle, every socioeconomic class, every race, creed, it's a religion. But sports brings us together, and I think that's why we love it. And the more and the longer we go without it, I think the stronger the pull back to it. And so when I think about like what the Olympics are going to be like next year, or the World Cup in 2 years, when the whole planet can come to these places and be back together. Right now we're dealing with travel restrictions and, borders being controlled and secured, et cetera. So yeah, just think about that beyond sports, what it's going to mean, which is, everything that the religion of sports is about. That's going to be a really exciting and I think like inspiring moment.
Yeah, I sit on the U.S. Olympic Board, and the meetings have been furious about this. You know what? The last thing, real quick, we talk about the religion of sports and how faith works into sports itself. I was thinking while you were talking, you look at 9/11 in New York, and then Boston Strong, and then Houston floods, or the New Orleans Saints, with their tragedy. It'll be really interesting, and I think Olympics may be it, because this is a worldwide event. You can pick these cities by what had happened. Obviously, 9/11 was all the United States, but it was a New York thing, in a big way. And then Boston Strong, obviously, was there. And these teams got inspired to raise and elevate the awareness and the vibration of their own community by winning. And it'll be really interesting. What do you think if you were writing a movie, what would that team be? Or would it be the Olympics or a World Cup? Or maybe you could give me some insight on what you think that one moment like Boston Strong would be in a world aspect of a big win.
Yeah, well, I think in a global aspect, it's probably going to be a global, like the Olympics. And, because the Olympics next year are in Tokyo, and because, the Far East was sort of like the epicenter when this thing first started, I think for people to come back and start to see like a city like that sort of rebuilding itself, or having rebuilt itself, hopefully by that time, is going to be really, inspiring. I think here, it's the NBA, because the NBA season was cut short, 15, games maybe before the playoffs started. And it was a great season, a lot of teams, a lot of chances, a lot of great storylines. So I think that's another reason why there's sort of like a real urgency for the league to get back, because again, what that will mean to people all across the country, to be able to see the games, see the athletes, see some of the guys who were like, diagnosed and positive, Rudy Gobert, Marcus Smart, all these guys, Kevin Durant, and really be back on the floor and performing at a high level. I think that'll mean a lot just beyond the games. And again, one of the nice things is, like you said, it's going to be more than just like city specific. It's, as a country, as a planet, we can come together.
Yeah, people just want to see it. I think it's a time where you could put up any game live and it would be the most watched game in history.
I'd be watching like a Detroit Pistons, Phoenix Suns all in right now.
Thank you for not saying San Diego Padres or somebody in my team. Last thing real quick too, one of the interesting aspects of sports that, a lot of people kind of haven't been talking about as much as professional is college sports. you know, this the tournament being canceled was one of the biggest upsetting things in my life, the Masters. But, you know, college sports is changing while this is all in pause. You know, the marketability of players, the business of sports, esports within college. But there's huge issues. You know, when you're getting paid to play and there's testing, and like you said, these are billion-dollar industries. Well, you know, you have the Power Five, but beyond that, you have Division III, Division II, Division I sports, all types of sports that who knows may be canceled until we actually have a vaccine. And these are things that people remember. I do, you know, I'm an average Division III football player, and I still, as extraordinary as my life has been, I go back and tell people those stories about how Christian Okoye ran me over, and that was one of the most poignant moments of my life. You know, how do you see that we help these, you know, students that this is their life dream to play a sport in college, whatever division it is, and yet it may be on hold? You know, do you see any issues of letting them come back and play, or, you know, when or how? What issues do you see for you?
I mean, it's super complicated. And, you know, my niece, who I'm really close to, she's a senior in high school. So this is an issue that goes obviously beyond at college athletes. This is like, our campus is going to be safe. And, you know, we tend to forget that the athletes we see on Saturdays on the football field, or, you know, during March Madness, they're students. And so first and foremost, can you get students back on campus? Then, you know, are those students safe to play? Like you said, they're not getting compensated, so the risk reward is much, you know, different than, say, the NBA or the NFL or whatever. And so I think, yeah, it's hugely complicated. I think that, you know, the good news, I think, and what we're trying to tell, I think, all of our kids right now is, like, you know, most athletes are, even at the college level, are not going to graduate into the pro level. Sports ultimately is about life lessons, and it's about resilience, and it's about, you know, people fail more times than they succeed usually, in terms of, so, like, what can we take away from this? And even as hard as it is, what can some of these collegiate athletes take away from this experience of missing the thing that they're most passionate about? What can they learn and apply to the rest of their lives? And so, you know, all of us have to sort of figure out, going back to that, what can we do now? What can we learn now for tomorrow? And I think that's one of the issues that college athletes are going to be dealing with. You know, hopefully this is, you know, I know they're talking about bringing college football back maybe in the spring at some point. I think we're also just going to have to, like, get creative, and, you know, athletes, and that's, again, that's a good muscle to flex. It's like, how do we innovate? How do we create, be, you know, not locked into the same sort of institutions and rules? How do we, you know, reinvent and reimagine ourselves?
That's awesome. Last thing, real quick, you know, we both believe in the religion of sports, and my prayer for everyone is to be kind to their future self by doing good deeds. If you were going to give a prayer for the day for the religion of sports, what would your prayer be?
You know, sports are mythical, and sports are about being the best version of yourself. And oftentimes the best version of yourself is just taking a step back and breathe, you know, like, and it's easy right now to get caught up in all the sort of anxiety, but, you know, I went for a run this morning already. That's why I think I'm still a little sweaty, but, like, you know, it's breathe and take some pause, and, you know, this takes some endurance. And so I'd say just sort of reflect and figure out those things that are most important to you.
Well, you've been awesome, man. I want everybody to check out our playbook. It comes out today. Gotham Chopra, you're amazing. I look forward to coming and seeing you and your dad on your new podcast when you guys are ready to take guests. I'll be first in line begging to come on. So thank you so much for coming on today, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks, man. Nice seeing you.
Go Chargers. See you later.
Bye.
Gotham Chopra, what a great guy, man. He's just humble, smart, just beautiful soul, trying to help empower others and inspire you and others. Thank you, everybody. We got a bunch of people, Bucks fans. Now the Brady fans went over to the Bucks. Is that what happened there? Awesome, Moha. Thank you. I got time for one quick question. Let's thank all the guys, Evan, Jason, and Gotham, for coming on. You know, here's a good question to end on. David, how to be happy? Look, you know, they talk about the pursuit of happiness, and Chris Gardner's a good friend of mine, and they made the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. Happiness is the pursuit. That's how to be happy. So you got to pursue things. What does that mean? You have to enjoy the consistent every day, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential. Of your potential. Don't start voting for what other people want. Don't focus on what you don't want. I promise you it will come. Don't look at the wall. You're going to hit it. Look at the road in front of you and find the light, the love, and the lessons in the road in front of you, not the speed bumps. If you stare at the speed bumps, you will hit them. We got to have the mindset, the emotions, what we think and say and do all together as an aggregate to be happy. And if you can't figure that one out, the first step in being happy is go ahead, do something for somebody else. Pick up a piece of trash, put back a grocery cart, whatever it may be, or give to somebody else. The minute you do that, you'll be happy, and you can practice that happiness. It is a practice to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Do not attach your happiness to an outcome. There's no pursuit of happiness. Happiness is the pursuit of the light, the love, and the lessons. I'm going to leave you with that today. Come join me tomorrow on my training, 11 a.m. They're free, 11 a.m. for everyone. Join me, please. We're going to talk about the perfect pitch for personal and professional life. Super excited about it. The community is growing, and we are learning together and sharing and empowering others to empower others to be happy. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow at training, 11 a.m. Thank you.